Microsoft's been under a lot of scrutiny lately as it tries to get the Activision Blizzard deal done before the end of the year. But with competitors like Sony submitting their opinions to the authorities, a fight has broken out between the two companies. In fact, Xbox has now accused the PlayStation maker of paying publishers to shut Game Pass out. Is there any truth to this statement though? Well, keep watching to find out. First up, Sony fires shots at Xbox for buying out the competition. With the acquisition season coming to a standstill, things have now moved on to the second phase, which is actually getting these deals approved. And while everyone's been spending a ton of money, Microsoft's massive $70 billion investment definitely takes the cake. As a matter of fact, that number's so big that all the other deals from publishers and hardware makers alike probably don't come near it. We mean, Sony's no slouch either, as they've dished out $4 billion on Bungie as well, but still, it's tiny compared to what Xbox paid for Activision Blizzard. Of course, these companies aren't just valued arbitrarily, so it's not like they're getting swindled out of money or anything. After all, they are buying the biggest video game franchise right now in Call of Duty. That said, these big moves from the Seattle Giants unsettled the competition, so much so that Sony's actually took some jabs at them. Now, these didn't just materialize out of nothing, as a Brazilian regulator asked for the company's opinion on the massive deal, but it's still worth looking into because you can feel the frustration in their words. For instance, the PlayStation maker fears that Microsoft's building a monopoly that no one's going to be able to compete against. Oh, and on top of that, they're also pretty concerned about Call of Duty going to Xbox. As a matter of fact, the official statement even spelled it out, saying that the franchise going to their rival would affect console sales. Isn't that kinda the point of buying stuff though? Well, yeah, so they're just stating the obvious here really. That said, here's the real zinger. Apparently, Sony also thinks that no one else in the industry can put together the sheer firepower that Activision's got for the yearly series, which is why, in essence, COD's got zero real competition. Now, obviously, there's a bit of exaggeration there, but honestly, they might have a point. Next up, Microsoft pushes back with a shocking revelation. Alright, so at this point, you'd expect Xbox to be the bigger guy and give out some diplomatic answers. After all, being the good guy has always been their strategy under Phil Spencer, but apparently the PlayStation maker just went one step too far this time. So we got a classic console war response instead. We'll spare you the technical mumbo jumbo and get straight to the point. So here's the bottom line. Microsoft's basically saying that their ability to grow Game Pass has been hampered by Sony because, well, they keep paying different publishers to not put their games on the service. Now, one question that springs to mind after hearing this: wait, isn't that how exclusivity deals work anyway? Like you fund a game's development and in return, you get to keep it on your platform. And you'd be right to think so, because that's exactly how it works. We mean it's usually a bidding war between two companies, and the one who can afford to pay more gets the rights to the title. But the real sauce is in the details, as Team Green isn't talking about exclusives at all. Instead, they're actually trying to say that Jim Ryan pays devs solely so they don't put their game on Game Pass. For instance, a game could still be released on all services and platforms, with the exception being the rival service. Other than that, the company also said that there are plenty of other subscription services in the space, including PlayStation Plus, that offer healthy competition. But wait, how does Microsoft even know these deals? Now, this is a massive bombshell from Xbox, especially during a time when console wars seem to be heating up, and you don't just pull these sorts of claims out of thin air. We mean you've got to have some credible sources backing you up, as this stuff can lead to defamation lawsuits. That said, Microsoft's actually got a pretty solid history when it comes to reporting this stuff accurately. Oh, and their source isn't some insider who just happens to leak the company's internal dealings. As a matter of fact, this revelation isn't new at all, and eagle-eyed fans would have read the same thing many months ago during the whole Apple versus Epic Games drama. If you're not aware, that lawsuit, which almost feels like a lifetime ago, brought a ton of internal documentation to light from all three major console makers. So, this PlayStation and Game Pass exclusivity was a part of that as well. Also, just in case you're curious, that lawsuit also had a lot of other interesting things in it, including the way Sony operates in terms of cross-platform play. Like, did you know that they actually charge devs a fee to enable cross-play in their titles? Yeah, weird, right? Well, apparently they've got this whole thing about revenue lost due to people buying games on other platforms and stuff, which obviously isn't how things should work. Now, does Sony's logic actually make any sense? Okay, so while Jim Ryan may not be the best at making consumer-friendly decisions, you've got to admit that he's still doing the right thing for the brand itself. Besides, even though Xbox tries to present itself as a company that cares about its consumers, the actual thing that matters at the end of the day is still profits. It just so happens in their case that the consumer-friendly choices also bring better returns. With that out of the way, it's pretty safe to say that it's all business, and no company is inherently right or wrong. That said, if we were to look at stuff purely as a consumer, then you could go down a couple of paths. First, Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard's definitely gonna lead to greater consolidation in the industry, and that could potentially lead us down a path towards less innovation in video games. At the same time, it's not like Sony or any other big publisher isn't buying devs to bolster their lineup. Besides, the PlayStation company has a knack for paying devs to keep stuff off of other platforms. For instance, they've had exclusivity agreements for Call of Duty content for a while now, so we don't think that they're in a position to criticize other companies for kinda doing similar things. Plus, Phil Spencer doesn't intend to make the franchise exclusive anyway. Interestingly enough though, this massive investment still doesn't put the Seattle company ahead of the competition in terms of gaming revenue generated. But hey, Sony can't afford to just pay their way to the top either, so it goes both ways. Also, is Microsoft in the right for pointing out Sony's own dealings? Now, PlayStation's been the market leader for almost a decade at this point, so as Microsoft tries to catch up by flexing its financial muscles, Jim Ryan has to do this whole blocking games off business to not lose ground. If you're purely looking at it from a consumer's perspective though, then you can't help but feel livid about the situation. We mean it's utterly indefensible really. Let's be clear here, this isn't a company battling someone else for exclusivity rights. Instead, it's literally them paying devs to not put games into a rival service. Like PS5 players don't gain anything from this practice. Xbox players on the other hand, well they just lose, don't they? So it's a bit of a dirty tactic honestly. And that's the argument coming from Team Green's camp, as according to them, the Japanese console manufacturer is too scared of Game Pass and is trying to actively sabotage it. And finally, does this drama jeopardize the Activision Blizzard deal? Of course, we've got to remember that this isn't just two tech giants having a go at each other for no reason. Like all of this is happening because regulators are asking for these clarifications from both camps. So technically, this whole quote-unquote drama is pretty normal. Well, maybe not the part where they fought back, but you get the point. Besides, they've got to make sure that no one can try to derail the deal, which has been going on pretty smoothly so far. Now, obviously, there's every chance of someone like the president just standing up and killing off their momentum. But with all the lobbying that goes on within governments, we'd say that the chances of that happening are pretty low. Also, Microsoft's got one of, if not the best legal teams in the business, meaning that they're not gonna let any page go unturned. Plus, it looks like the FTC is on its way to approving the acquisition as well. And after that, it's just the legal formalities that they've got to cover to close it and bring Activision Blizzard under the Xbox Game Studios umbrella. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think that Xbox is gonna overtake PlayStation after this deal goes through? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.